Hey guys, so I just got back from seeing The Strangers Pray at Night, the new sequel to The Strangers, a movie that came out in 2008, and we're now getting a sequel in 2018 because reasons. I This is one of those things that baffles the fuck out of me. I'm like, why the hell did we have to wait this long for a sequel to Strangers? I remember hearing about a sequel to this movie for probably all the way since 2008, ever since the first one came out. That we're finally getting a sequel 10 years later. Like movies like Blade Runner and shit like that, I understand that. I understand why it took so long, but what the fuck, Strangers, really? I mean, I know we've waited longer times than this for other movies, a lot longer times than for other movies than this, but Jesus Christ, man. Like, I didn't really think everybody was really clamoring for a sequel to that movie anyways, but apparently, they were hell-bent on making one. As far as my thoughts go as far as the first one goes, I actually liked the first one. I was a pretty big fan of the first one. I thought it was a pretty solid, creepy home invasion thriller that was pretty effective when I first saw it. I also saw it with a crowded theater, which also really fucking helped. That was one of those times I was really glad to see it with a crowded theater because you had like a bunch of teenage girls scream "Eee!" like every fucking time a jump scare would happen or something creepy would happen. Like I said, it was not a bad film. It wasn't flawless, but it was a pretty solid film. I liked the concept of it. People in masks randomly attacking people for no reason whatsoever other than just that they were home and they just apparently did it for fun. These people were, it was like kind of inspired by the Manson murders and stuff like that. You can fucking tell, stuff like that. It was inspired by that. That's where the based on true events part of the movie came from, is that it was kind of about took inspiration from the Manson family murders, stuff like that. Well, this, as far as the sequel goes, I didn't get any trailers for this at all every time I went to the theater. I never got a trailer for this, but I did see one online, and it was like one of those movies you're like, this can't be being released. It can't be being released in fucking theaters. It's got to be a straight to DVD. And they're like, nope, it's being released in theaters. I'm like, okay. It didn't look like anything I was really looking forward to excitedly. The only thing I liked about the trailer was the use of the fucking song, the Tiffany song. I think We're Alone Now, which I thought was pretty funny, kind of clever. Which they do use in a lot of horror movies, it seems like nowadays, but it's like whatever. But I was like, I saw the first one, might as well fucking see this one out of curiosity. If it's any good, I'll give it praise. If it's not, I won't. And this movie wasn't very fucking good. It was pretty fucking bad. It has everything I hate about a fucking horror sequel in it. And I'll talk about that more, but Jesus Christ, I was not a big fan of this movie for the most part. It was pretty bad. But also at the same time, there are elements of this fucking movie that are fucking so hilarious that I kind of almost recommend it because there's some really ridiculous moments in this movie that just need to be seen to believe. It's one of those movies that's like kind of so bad it's good. It's almost, but it's also pretty fucking terrible also at the same time. It's not very good. It's a, like I said, everything I hate about horror sequels could easily be, everybody always talks about how horror movies are ruined. Great horror movies are ruined when they have sequels made about them. Well, this is a great fucking example. I mean, I'm not saying the first one's a great film, but everything that worked about the first one, they pretty much fucking threw completely out the fucking window with this one. This one is basically, the best way to describe it is, you know how the first one was about, it was like a kind of a slow burning horror film about these creepy people in masks terrorizing this couple for no apparent reason, and like I said, it was just slow burning, and it just was like built Dread up pretty nicely, and to the point that it crescendoed in the finale and all that shit like that. Well, this movie just fucking completely throws that shit right out the fucking window with this one. Within the first 10 minutes, it doesn't even take. They literally. Okay, the movie, if you don't know, it's about this family who goes, or it's this dysfunctional family who you really don't get much backstory about these characters before the shit starts hitting the fan. They're basically on their way to some boarding school out of state, I guess, to take their rebellious teenage daughter to this boarding school so that she can start behaving, I guess. We don't really know what the hell she did. She's just apparently a emo goth chick played by Bailey Madison, who, if you don't know who Bailey Madison is, she's the little girl from movies like Brothers and Bridge of Terabithia, not the girl that gets killed, or not the girl that dies in Bridge of Terabithia, but the little sister. She's one of those actresses that's been in a lot of fucking movies, and the first 10 minutes, I didn't even know that was her, and the first 10 minutes I was watching this movie, and I'm like, I know her from something. I know I've seen this girl from something. And I'm like, wait a minute, isn't that girl from fucking Bridge of Terabithia? Which is kind of funny because I was just talking about that earlier. Somebody about how depressing that movie was. And I'm like, yeah, that's that fucking little girl. It's like, now she's all grown up and 19 years old. I'm like, wow, when the fuck did this happen? It's like, I didn't even know she was still acting. Cool. She turned into a beautiful young little girl. Good for her. And she's still acting, and she's the only her and Christina Hendricks are the only two recognizable people in this movie. It's like that, but yeah, she's this rebellious teen who wears the Ramones t-shirt throughout the movie. She's rebellious because she's wears a Ramones t-shirt, and before they go to this boarding school, they decide to make a stop at this lake where there's these little mobile homes set up along this lake that one of them is owned by their uncle, and it's obviously I think it takes place after Labor Day. It never really says what the time of year it is. After Labor Day, and nobody's there except these people in masks and shit like that. And like I said, within minutes of them, actually literally seconds, they hadn't even got into the fucking mobile home, and after 2 seconds of being in there, did they get a fucking knock on the door. I haven't seen the first one in a while, but I remember it was just it took a little while and tried to build some character a little bit before they started getting to the crazy shit. But no, this one just straight goes for the knock on the door. Is Tamara home, from the first one? And the girl walks away. You're like, okay, so they're going to continue building characters. No. Within a couple, maybe 5 minutes later, one of the masked girls decides to just come right in and just start stabbing people. And I'm going to get into spoilers, but if you were kind of cool, Christina Hendricks is in this movie, she is the first to fucking die within the first fucking 10 minutes. She gets stabbed, and then she is gone. The most famous person in this movie is gone within fucking 10 minutes of this movie. 15 maybe. It might be a little generous, but Jesus Christ. So it's right away, it's just bam, like throw all subtlety out the fucking window. Let's not make a slow burn type of movie. Let's just throw shit at you. They're automatically just fucking attacking the family within seconds of them being at this mobile home. Like, there's no subtlety, no slow burn. It's just bam, 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 bam. Like, them being chased by the one girl who hides or lures them with jack-in-the-boxes. That was one of the stupidest fucking scenes in the movie. Like, why would you go fucking look at a jack-in-the-box, you moron? To the other girl who's just there. The one other girl is a masked girl that's there. To my favorite part of this fucking movie, the leader of this group. Now, this is where this movie jumped the fucking shark. This movie completely jumped the shark. Now, if you remember from the first one, they had like a truck, right? They drove a truck, and the truck had some part of the movie, but barely any part of the movie. No, this fucking leader, the guy who wears the satchel bag on his head that looks like a fucking scarecrow, he spends pretty much a majority of this fucking movie driving his truck around and trying to murder them by running them over. Like that's not even the best part, because I shit you not, this is a scene that happens in this movie. This is getting the spoilers, but this is a scene that fucking happens in the movie. So the brother, because the girl has a brother too, that goes along with them. They're sitting in this one of the mobile homes, and like they're kind of like, the girl's kind of hurt, and they're trying to recover from, they think they're safe, and it appears to be that they're safe and away from these people. And then all the fucking sudden, I'm not making this shit up, the fucking guy in the truck just rams right into the fucking wall and like is trying to run him over. He runs fucking like head first right into his mobile home and destroys it. And the truck is fine. It is not scratched. It's barely scratched. It's working. It has no problems working. Apparently this is like a fucking vehicle from hell. Like, seriously, this thing is like a vehicle from hell, and apparently he is also a fucking demon or something. I'll get in that in a minute, but it's like, what the hell? Like, it's so ridiculous. There's also a fucking scene, if you see in the trailers, this is not much a spoiler, where the truck is on fire and it's driving down the road. And what happens before that makes it even more absurd that this thing is like literally the car from hell that like won't be destroyed. And apparently the leader of this group is fucking has superpowers or something, is indestructible or something, because there are a lot of moments in this movie he should be fucking dead, and he just gets right fucking back up. I'm like, I know this is a horror movie and always like, you think the killer's dead, but they're not really. He should be fucking dead. It's like he becomes Michael fucking Myers by it, like at one point. It is really fucking stupid. It's like, this is everything I hate about a horror sequel. That they just throw everything that worked about the first one and just throw it right out the fucking window. But like I said, but at the same time, the whole part of the guy in the truck and this indestructible truck, and also there's a great scene where the dad gets in a wreck in the car that he was driving, and he's sitting there and because he's pinned down by something, and the fucking masked guy just walks to the passenger side, gets in, turns on the radio, and just sits there while the dad is just like, please don't hurt me. And he's just listening to the radio. I'm like, what the hell? That was the most random, dumb scene I've ever seen in a horror movie in a while. Like I said, this was pretty fucking stupid. This guy, that he stole the movie. I'll say that. He stole the movie for unintentionally funny reasons. Like I said, the car from hell. Like, he drives through. I still can't believe he drove the fucking truck through a mobile home. The thing is not even close to being destroyed. It's perfectly fine and pristine condition. And then it isn't until, like, he wrecks it into a police car where he fucking finally wrecks this thing. And I'm like, and even still then, it runs perfectly fine. I don't know where the fuck he got this truck, but I know that almost sounds like it's nitpicking, but it's like, I know, I've been in a few accidents in my lifetime. I'm pretty certain his car would be fucking destroyed. And then it fucking, like I say, it's on fire and he's driving it. There's no fucking way. That's like, it's bullshit. It's like, I like, the movie original was not absurd. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't like, just, these weren't like indestructible human beings. This one makes this movie like they're like the next Michael Myers, and I like they even sequel bait us at the end of the movie. I'm like, really, fucking really, no, no. After the way it ends, it should not be a sequel to this. Like they make it out like I said, they're the next Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. If it goes that route, and you're fucking like, fuck you. Like, everything about that worked about the original just thrown out the window. God damn. I wasn't a big fan of this movie. Other than, like, the hilarity of the, like I said, the guy in the truck. This movie was pretty bad. Like, there's no characters. Like, just no character development whatsoever, which there wasn't the most in the first one either, but still, it was like, they gave you enough character development of that couple that you kind of understood where they came from. But, yeah. Fuck this movie. Oh, yeah, the other part was funny was, like, I literally laughed out loud in the movie theater when, like, these things, they just start running at, I don't know why they didn't start, like, the strangers in masks just start running at them with, like, axes and knives. I don't know why they didn't do that in the fucking first place. They just slowly walk. I know that's a nitpick, but, I mean, and then, it was so fucking absurd, but, and the soundtrack wasn't bad. I'll say that. They didn't play, I Think We're Alone Now, which I was really disappointed. But it was like the soundtrack was pretty fun. A lot of 80s music. Like the movie begins with them, they're strangers driving a truck and playing We're Kids in America, which was pretty funny. But yeah, like I said, yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie. I don't know, the soundtrack maybe the soundtrack. I have to maybe get the soundtrack because it was actually pretty good. Yeah. Everything I hate about horror sequels are in this fucking movie. Trailers. I got one great new horror movie and then two really shitty ones. The good one was Unsane, Unsane, the new Steven Soderbergh movie, which I had seen commercials for, but I didn't know what the fuck it was. It's called something called Unsane, where it's about this girl who is relocated and given a different name and everything else like that because she has a stalker, and she is going to therapy and telling her therapist about how she keeps seeing this stalker everywhere she goes and everything like that. And he has her sign a piece of paper, and she unknowingly signs. When she signs this paper, she unknowingly lets herself to be admitted to a mental hospital for 24 hours. But then they start to realize she might really be insane, so they keep her there for longer. And then she's thinking that one of the orderlies that worked there is the stalker that she's been afraid of this whole time. And I was like, this could be a pretty fucking solid horror, like, psychological thriller. It looked really good. I like Steven Soderbergh. He's a really solid director. Like it looked like a Steven Soderbergh movie. I like the idea of him making a psychological thriller. And seeing it's getting decent reviews, I'm like, yeah, that looks kind of, it looked kind of cool. I was like, that looks pretty good. I bet you I know what the twist is. Or I guessed that. I guarantee I guessed what the twist was. But I guarantee it's probably something like there was never a stalker the whole time. It's all been in her head the whole time, or something like that. I bet you $1,000,000 that's a twist. Like I said, I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, so we'll see. Breaking In. That's the new home invasion movie. I think it was who was in that? Was it Gabrielle Union? It's about like her dad dies, and her and her kids go to her dad's old home where it's like a secure fortress. Pretty much, it has like all this crazy security, and she goes out at night one time, and her house is attacked, and she's basically locked out of her house while her kids are in there with these home invaders. And I'm like, that could be kind of interesting, but it looks like your stereotypical oh hell, I have no fury like a mother or something like that, or whatever. Yeah. Or oh no, what was the tagline? Payback is a mother. So fucking dumb. That was so dumb. God damn, these taglines are terrible nowadays. And then the last one, Slender Man. God, does this look so fucking stupid. Like, why are we making now horror movies based off creepypastas? What are like Jeff the Killer next? It looks so dumb. So goddamn dumb. It could have been a good idea. I mean, Slender Man is a creepy idea, but it looks so like generic, bland. No, I don't even know what was going on in this trailer. Nothing about this trailer. It was all generic, creepy images that you've seen a million times. And like I said, there was no narrative to whatsoever. Like this trailer, like I have no idea what the hell this movie's even about. It looks so bad. That looks so bad. Nothing about that movie looks good. Maybe I don't know. I highly doubt it, but yeah, maybe something it'll surprise me. But if that's your first trailer, that looks fucking awful, man. All right, but yeah, that's as far as trailers go. And Strangers Pray at Night. Void that shit. Yeah, I'll be back later this week. We got what's this week? Tomb Raider, Love, Simon, which I'll be definitely seeing. What the hell? I can only imagine, which I highly doubt I'll be seeing, unless we get great reviews, which I highly doubt again. But like I said, I'll definitely be seeing Tomb Raider and Love, Simon, which both are big movies coming out. So then, till then, I'll talk to you guys later.